All right. Hello, everyone, and now welcome to a game Sock versus FoCuS. Excuse me. This game taking place here on Northern Isle. Let's go ahead. I don't know. Did someone play with my cameras? I'm never quite sure. Anyways, let's go ahead and break things down in this 1v1 game. FoCuS has spawned as the, blue orc player over here on the top right-hand side of the map. Should be a great game here. Meanwhile, on the bottom left, we have Sock spawning as the yellow human. I'm always interested to see like this 3D game, and watching the game in a different angle just feels so different, right? Like the buildings just don't seem right, and I guess orc doesn't really matter nearly as much with that. That great hall looking the way it does, but yeah, the town hall looking a little bit odd, and always being able to see that clock tower and that front door. All right, what are we expecting to see here from these players? It looks like Farseer with Headhunters, maybe an early Grunt, and then trying to build up some Headhunters right behind that, and come back for some creeping. Meanwhile, we are going into an Archmage coming in from Sock. No big surprises here. Classic matchup, human versus orc. Only real, coin flip would have been if the hero was a Blade Master or a Farseer. Coming down, we can see that the Scout Tower is being placed down. Sock perhaps expecting there to be, a Farseer with those Spirit Wolves, wants a Scout Tower up and ready to deter any sort of, Spirit Wolf harassment. Lumber, however, always a difficult thing to gather on early. Going to be able to upgrade that to tier 2, but that is, or upgrade that to the Arcane Tower, but that is going to delay his tech to tier 2 if he opts to go for it. Meanwhile, Footman still getting trained up here. Archmage getting trained up with Water Elementals. There's that Scout Tower. For some reason, it is not getting upgraded to Arcane yet, as the Archmage now makes its way over to the Ogre Magi Creep Camp. Ogre Magi Creep Camp perhaps going to try and engage against that Ogre Magi, pull the aggro a little bit over. There it goes in and snare down. Footman does get close enough for an attack. Is he going to drop a second Water Elemental? No, the Water, yes, there's that second Water Elemental there. Still looking at that Arcane Tower. Sock instead still cranking out those Footmen and those Peasants. All right, low hit point Peasant able to retreat back. Tuskar Trapper will get finished off here as Sock gets up to 27 over 30 supply and gets to level 2 on this Archmage. Meanwhile, Farseer doing a bit of creeping. One lone Grunt followed alongside a Headhunter. That Headhunter really there for the damage. Meanwhile, the Grunt there to act as that front line tanking unit when the Spirit Wolves' well-timed life comes to an end. Archmage also doing some creeping here, and both sides were still, respectively in their own neck of the woods. The Scout Tower is finally going to get upgraded. Opted to go for that tech to tier 2 first, before going for that Scout Tower. So interesting call there. Perhaps I'd have to actually think about that. Why build the Scout Tower, as it takes away from early lumber harvesting and also costs 20 lumber itself? Why would you go ahead and try and build the Scout Tower if you weren't planning to immediately upgrade? All right, Militia going to have a bad day here as the Farseer of FoCuS finding a couple of, Peasants out in midfield. One Peasant already down, second one down, with the third one getting cleaned up as well. Nice pickup by FoCuS, taking down a significant number of workers, especially while Sock, wanted all of those additional workers to try and build up on lumber for that all-important tier 2 tech finish. If you often find yourself at tier 2 not having enough lumber to do everything you want, you may want to delay your tech to tier 2 until you have enough workers, or can afford to lose a worker or two if you plan on doing some creeping away from your Archmage. That's exactly what happened here, as Sock now sets up a lumber mill and now getting down another farm. All right, Archmage already back into the base of the Orc. FoCuS in position, ready to put pressure, as a Footman may not be able to retreat back home. Down to 147 hit points. One of the higher hit point Footmen should perhaps try and switch places. No, not going to work out well. This Footman down to 43. He's going to end up easily getting cleaned up. Meanwhile, we are looking at the Grunts and the Headhunters getting split apart as well here. Sock is in a bit of a predicament as FoCuS has done more damage to his opponent, and then now, even though he is a little bit behind on experience, should, well, have an advantage here at the start of the mid game. Tech to tier 2 nearly done. We're going to be waiting to see what that second hero is going to be and the tech choices. Meanwhile, grunts are creeping away from the action, and this is going to give the opportunity for the Farseer to get to level 3 and perhaps use those level 2 Spirit Wolves with that critical strike. Alright, Mantle of Intelligence down. Farseer just shy of level 3 by 3 experience, but is going to pick up a Mantle of Intelligence here. Alright, Water Elemental down to 226 hit points. May end up getting felled here. 1 or 2 more shots, there's level 3, and that's something you hate to see as a player. Your own units giving your opponent the level up away from the action when it was just perhaps there to scout. That last bit of experience always, well, hurting just a little bit more. Ice Troll going to get finished off. There's level 3 now on the Archmage. Ice Troll with that Frost Armor greatly reduced, greatly reducing the damage here, but the Footmen do have Defend, so are able to absorb a lot of that damage and reflect some of that damage back as well. Tauren Chieftain out on the battlefield, opening things up with Endurance Aura first, faster movement speed, better attack speed across and abound as there's no tech to tier 3 yet. Alright, so oftentimes we see a quick tech to tier 3. That is not going to be the case here. We may actually see FoCuS stay at tier 2. Forgot that this was a human matchup for a second. Now, Mountain King did opt to go for Stormbolt first. Could it try and, well, clear the way with that Stormbolt, snipe things down at this 544 creep camp. And 544 creep camp is extremely, how would I describe it? Extremely, well, experience filled, as 544 does give a level 1 hero just more than enough experience to get to level 2. Alright, Mountain King sitting at level 2 here, does also have a Potion of Greater Mana. Farseer there. Are we going to see a Stormbolt turn back around? There's that Stormbolt. Footman may be able to get ahead here, and this could be a problem for the Farseer. No, the Footman just a sidestep away. Not enough. Mountain King not going to be able to land that Stormbolt again. This Footman not standing in the right place at the right time. We are off of a single Arcane Sanctum, so it is rifle casters with priests, no sorceresses, interestingly enough, as the units are, well, making their rounds. Meanwhile, the Archmage is trying to put in a pressure onto the Orc burrows as there is no reinforced defenses yet. However, the Archmage may, well, find himself in a little bit of trouble. Scroll of Speed coupled with Shaman Purge making some difficulties. Archmage, however, able to run and get a little bit of distance away, and it looked like FoCuS wasn't gonna continue the chase. Tauren Chieftain does get to level 3. That does mean level 2 Stomp. And that Tauren Chieftain also with Vampiric Aura, well, able to regenerate a little bit more hit points in that front line spot. Not too much, but enough to sustain. Tuskar Sorcerer going to get finished off here. Mountain King going to be just shy of 3 as well, needing that last bit of experience, as FoCuS's, well, Great Hall off to the north just going to get cancelled. Alright. Tauren Chieftain finishing off another Furbolg, getting a Pure Up of Vitality north of 1,000 hit points at level 3. Mountain King already at level 3, bringing in that Brilliance Aura across all of these casters, including that Mountain King. Some good items there. Now, Farseer, is he going to get Stormbolted? No, he is not. Sock opting to go for level 2 Thunderclap to try and engage in that front line spot just a bit more. You can see a couple of Skeletal Warriors. These Skeletal Warriors actually do have timed life, and it makes me, well, yeah, you have to finish off the Skeletal Warrior. Are there any more skeletons nearby? No, taking down the Arachnids and then getting more skeletons for more gold and experience may have been a decent proposition. 49 supply compared to 46. Overall supply is about the same. Arcane Vault finally being built by Sock here, and that makes a lot of sense. Players often ask, when should you build your Arcane Vault? And if you're trying to Expo, you definitely need your Arcane Vault early because you need access to healing. However, once Arcane Sanctum is available, and you have a priest. The priests are generally strong enough to give a lot of healing, especially with the archmage as support. You can see that Mountain King wandering off by itself here. There is that Tauren chieftain, an illusion Mountain King, quickly getting purged down, as this Mountain King may end up getting stunned before he's able to get off a good thunderclap. Tauren chieftain with that potion of invisibility, able to get a big surprise on the back line, and by getting in that 3-4 second stun on the back line of those riflemen, well, if you're able to stun 3 or 4 riflemen for 5 seconds, that is a massive amount of damage opening up here. All right, lightning shield now. There is a quick dispel. Thunderclap coming in across from the Mountain King. One worker, potion of invulnerability, and now both sides are still fighting. There's another massive thunderclap as well. Mountain King and Tauren chieftain are just trying to be the all-stars in this game, trying to rack up damage against all of these units, as the Mountain King does get another thunderclap there, but this time not hitting nearly as many units. All right, we're seeing a little bit of separation and split. Sock sitting at 48 supply compared to 47. We are seeing a couple of ensnares go down as the Tauren chieftain is now finally out of mana. Mountain King uses the potion of greater mana, and then now having a couple more Stormbolts and Thunderclaps in the tank can get a little bit further. Mountain King now up to level 2 Brilliantor. That's going to be big here as the Mountain King needs to get into position. Are we going to see another Thunderclap? Well, there we are. There's a large amount of damage, but the damage mitigation is also big as well, as we're looking at a couple of low hit point grunts need to get away. All right, we're trying to look at units getting cleaned up here. Look at one grunt down. Another grunt could get taken down. Level 4 now on the Mountain King. Beautifully done, as Sock's reinforcements with militia able to turn the tide of that battle, forcing the Scroll of Town portal. Now, however, 38 or 40 supply compared to 42. Sock does have a little bit more gold, as FoCuS Expo off to the north does need to get cleaned up. Replenishment potion on that Mountain King, getting in a little bit more mana. We're looking at an Arcane Vault being built in that frontline spot. Raiders are going to quickly take that, shut that down before it can get started. Mountain King wants to line up. Are we going to see some Thunderclaps here? You can see Stormbolt instead onto the Tauren chieftain, and now the Tauren chieftain may be forced to use a stomp against a bunch of peasants instead of that backline spot. All right, Mountain King wants to get in a big thunderclap here. Is he going to be able to do so? There's a lot of units. Kodo Beast trying to eat a footman. There's a Stormbolt onto the Farseer. Farseer could easily get surrounded. This is going to be a tough spot. Tauren chieftain comes in with the stomp. There's a thunderclap, and there's some damage. Chain lightning as a last dying effort to finish off and break out of that break out of that spot there, but unlucky. Mountain King still fighting his way through. Are we going to see another thunderclap or perhaps a little bit more damage? There goes another Raider as the Stormbolt finds the Tauren chieftain. Tauren chieftain now down to 442 hit points. He's going to be able to get away, as he also still has an invul potion as well. Meanwhile, Shaman is in the back cleaning things up. FoCuS is at 32 supply compared to 28. Both sides suffering a very heavy casualties, as the Mountain King, well, unable to finish off against all of these grunts. Or did we see a Tome of Retraining in the middle of battle? All right, it looked like there was a Tome of Retraining in the middle of the battle, but the Archmage's cooldown on the Water Elemental was not completed, so he was not able to really retrain into Blizzard. That looked like that was the case there, and if that was the case, that is a massive mistake. Meanwhile, we're looking at the, well, grunts and all of these units looking to engage again. Mountain King trying to shut down FoCuS Expo off to the north. Mountain King Archmage is still seeing at level 4. We're looking at some towers here, and this is a last, well, stand here, but the Shamans are just going to turn into experience once more as the Tauren chieftain gets to level 5. There's a thunderclap there. Both sides fighting. Archmage continuing to fight. Yeah, and that the Tauren or the Archmage not waiting for the for the appropriate time to use that Tome of Retraining, wanted to retrain the Blizzard, and instead still had a Water Elemental on cooldown, and because of that, well, didn't actually get to go into Blizzard. All right. Instead, he ended up giving more experience to his opponent with those Water Elementals getting cleaned up quickly. Archmage now makes its way over here. Are we going to see another Tome? There's Dust of Appearance, and Stormbolt onto the Tauren chieftain. This could be a big deal here. Are we going to see some damage? There's a quick stomp as the Tauren chieftain does get away. Archmage down, well, Archmage at level 4, 6 experience shy from level 5. Militia now getting called over as only a little bit of damage is needed. All right, going to finish off a little bit of things here. Mountain King, is he going to try to land a Thunderclap? No, he's just trying to get to level 5 there as the Tauren Chieftain tries to land in a stomp early. All right. What's happening? Archmage gets up to level 5 and goes for level 3 Water Elemental. There's a Chain Lightning. There's a Stormbolt onto the Tauren Chieftain. Tauren Chieftain could take a lot of damage, now being forced to try and retreat back here. Mountain King does have a potion of mana to try and fight his way through. Perhaps going to try and use a Thunderclap here to mitigate or slow down some of these units. As well, there goes another unit there. There's a Thunderclap, but the Tauren Chieftain uses the Invul potion in time. Both sides fighting 42 compared to 43. A Chain Lightning quickly reducing or getting many of these riflemen into the red zone. Mountain King still has that potion of mana. There's level 5 on the Mountain King. He goes for level 3 Stormbolt now, and that is going to put all heroes on alert, knowing that a 300 Stormbolt is just around the corner. Archmage has backed himself into a corner. Priest is actually healing himself quite nicely as well, and we see a Stormbolt go down to the Farseer. Farseer going to be able to use the Invul potion to get away as the Grunt is engaging against, well, this rifleman here. Both sides still fighting. Water Elemental going to get cleaned up. Mountain King still low on mana as we see the Shadow Wolves engaging as well. All right, Grunt is going to finish off. There goes another Grunt there. There's some Dispel magic as the Shadow Wolves do need to back up. There's Dust of Appearance. So Dust of Appearance used against an Orc player who is not going for Blade Master, and it still worked out well. Arcane Vault, now quickly getting added or getting trained up. A new priest comes over to try and offer a bit of healing as the main priest, well, is low on hit points. In comes the Raiders trying to stop the Arcane Vault as Sok is stopping FoCuS's Expo. Mountain King still has plenty of mana. Is he going to try to go for a Thunderclap here? Arcane Vault about to get taken down. There's another Purge onto the Water Elementals, and that is just going to continue to push more and more experience to the Orc side. Both sides still fighting their way here. Tauren Chieftain has plenty of hit points with a potion of healing. There is a stomp there. Archmage could be in some serious trouble as I think Sok is now, well, going to lose this Archmage and the game. You cannot win with a Mountain King alone. Sok, well, having some great efforts, but miscuing, I believe, a Tome of Retraining. It looked like the animation for that. And, well, even if it was the case, Water Elementals, once your opponent had that many shamans out on the battlefield, just turned into hero experience. The fact that FoCuS's Tauren Chieftain and Farseer got to level 5 so quickly, opening up that larger level 3 stun, well, it really changed the game. Sok, good job, good spider sense, using the Dust of Appearance to find an invisible Tauren Chieftain and then using it on the Shadow Wolves as well. But those good plays were not enough. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below.